Hello, Lisa here, and welcome to another week of Start Me Up Business Walkthrough, where each week I walk you through my journey of starting a business. So I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and they're still up on YouTube if you need to watch them, and subscribe to the channel if you like. Thank you also too for your comments that you make, and I'm pleased you're getting some value out of them. And please, ask questions anytime if you need to, and I'll be happy to answer them the best I can. So this week is week number 7, and I'm going to talk about scheduling. And basically all that is how am I going to fit my business activities in with my everyday daily routine. Because it does take a lot of time to organise a business, get started with it, a lot of things to consider. So to talk about scheduling then this week, the first of all is like the biggest part of your time if you still have a job, or I'm self-employed currently. I have to make time for that. That income, that main income, pays my basic living costs, and I've got to keep doing that. So I'm lucky enough to work in an industry that I can just do that part-time basically, and that leaves me time to do this business and of course computer repair, which I do also. So and that's probably the thing to when we talked about doing the budgeting, can you survive on reducing your hours to be able to spend time on your business? So what else can we do then to free us some time? Well, you could sleep less, which honestly sometimes I do that. I'll set the alarm and get up earlier, or sleep maybe 4 or 5 hours a night so I can get in what I need to. But that's, your preference. You've got to be able to do whatever is comfortable. And then it's really about taking sort of shortcuts, cutting out all the stuff that doesn't, support you in your activities. Like, do you really need to spend all that time on Facebook, showing photos to your friends and things like that? Maybe you could, without being disrespectful, of course, but, just reducing your screen time for a start. So what I do, there's some strategies that I use which I find work really well, because the main thing I came across wasn't so much the strategy, but was actually putting it into place and building the habit to keep using the strategy. And that's really the big thing for me, I think. Is, you can have 1,001 strategies on how to organise your day, but if you're not committed to, doing them every day, well, there's not much point. So what I do first, one of the strategies I do is for my, over the week, when I go to the supermarket, I'll write a list up on my fridge of things I need, and I literally use my cell phone and take a photo of that list, go to the supermarket, and that saves me time. It even saves me thinking time. I don't have to think, and I write the list once, take a photo of it, take it to the supermarket, and that's me done. And also the next point or strategy that I use is I get my fuel once a week, and I literally drive to the supermarket, and the route, the route is on, go to the supermarket, drive up to the fuel station, and on two sides of the road are two different fuel companies, and their prices are different. So I can look and see which one's cheaper, go to the supermarket, and then on the way home, stop in and get my fuel, and also get the stuff I need for the week. And it's a journey home, so it's like kill two birds with one stone, and that's something that I can fit in really well. So what else do I use? Another strategy, this here, simply if you can see it, ta-da, came from the days of Dick Smith. It's a time clock, and it's a great time clock. And when I sit down at the computer, I set the time clock maybe for 15 or 20 minutes, and then it literally beeps, and then I know to stop doing what I'm doing and move on to something else. It's really good. There's two things I like about that strategy. I don't sort of get caught up and, you know, get off on a tangent and forget the time. Like, I'm suddenly thinking, wow, it's 2 hours later and what have I done for that time? The time clock reminds me. And there's a really good psychological component in time clocking, and that is if you hear the beep, I'll just do it and I'll show you. You can hear that's me setting the time there. So I'll start it. Listen to that beep. Honestly, when I'm working and when I'm engrossed in doing something and that beep goes off like that, I immediately hear it, and the pitch is such that it will kind of jolt me out of that mesmerization if I'm mesmerized in something on the internet. And it kind of helps to break the physiology, you know, of your brain. And when you get into that focus, you know, then I can think, wow, because it's really hard. I find it really difficult if I'm really concentrating on something that I enjoy doing. You know, to come out of that flow, yeah, is really difficult. And that's a good way to do it because it breaks your concentration and it's easier to make that shift in your brain. So that's one strategy, and I save, honestly, probably a good hour a day at least using that, because then I can get up and do something else. And so the next strategy that I use, and this actually comes from a book of, it's called a to-do list formula. That's what it is, to-do list formula. You can get it on Amazon, and it's by a guy called Damon Zahariad. It's a difficult one to pronounce, but if you just type in to-do list formula, I'm sure you'll find it. And what he proposes is that you write a project list. Now, I've just got a book like this, and I list all of what I do, you know, what I need to do for the whole month. I do it on a monthly basis, right down, like I've got, you know, do my invoicing, send a letter, and, you know, write some surveys. And what you do is you kind of group all of those tasks together. So you could have letters, and then, so surveys, education. So what I'm doing there is I'm actually grouping the tasks that I need to do, and then I literally, what I'll do is write them out in my book. Usually once a month I do it, and then over that month, as the weeks go on, I will write them into my diary if I need to actually diary stuff in to get me to do it. And that was so, and the idea of that came, the way that that's set up to do through Damon, who talks about it in his formula, is one of the key secrets to, you know, for you to taking action on your list is to use action words. So, and that's a great strategy. So what I do is I write my list out generally, and then when I put it in the diary, I'll use an action word to go with it. So instead of just saying go to the shops, I'll use a verb in that and say drive to the shop. So it kind of inspires another example you to take action. Is I've got the word router written down in my diary. So I would write buy a router. So again, the action word being buy. And another example, gardening. Instead of just writing one word gardening, I can write in dig the garden. So again, you know, I've got that action word to inspire me to actually take action on it. Now, another way I like to motivate myself, because yes, I am self-centered and lazy, is to use an MP3 player. Literally plug those into my ears with songs that give me energy, that immediately change my physiology to get me out of my stuck mode of laziness and get on and do stuff. And that does make a difference. Same songs I use when I go to the gym. And some really good songs I like to listen to. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor, Venus, Bananarama, Spin Me Round, Dead or Alive, and The Final Countdown by Europe. So they're just some of the songs I listen to, and I like them because they give me energy and I feel like more powerful and in control and help me to get up and get things done. So that's some of the strategies that I use to, again, you know, getting stuff done, of course, helps you to save time during the day. I'm not yet good enough to actually diary everything and stick to a time schedule. But when I do, I have found that if I do diary stuff throughout the day and go through the list, I actually get done. It only takes me half the day to do what I had scheduled for the whole day, which is great. Another motivation is to just only have one or two really important things on the list for the whole day. Otherwise, if you have too much intensity, go, wow, I just can't be bothered. So, again, finding a strategy that works for you. Aim to reduce as much wasted time as you can. And before we go, one other book that I enjoyed reading was this one by Tim Ferriss. He's had a couple of editions, but there it is. It's the 4-Hour Work Week, Escape the 9 to 5. Tim Ferriss. It's got some quite good strategies there and how you can, work for 4 hours. I haven't tried out all of those strategies, but he's got a lot of different ideas, some useful. Have a read of that, try it out, and see how you go. So that's it for scheduling. Got to get the schedule, my stuff in during the day. Hope you enjoyed it, and next week we're going to come back to the niches, and I've got my niche decided, so I'll tell you about that and how I'm researching the niche. So that's it for this week. Have a good one, and enjoy. Until next time, see ya.